Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Good morning.
Just letting everybody in. I apologize. There's no music today. Mostly because I'm up here at the ranch, and so I have limited Wi-Fi and stuff here. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mark. No epic playlist for you today, my friend. But we'll be back. You'll get it soon. Don't worry. Beautiful, beautiful. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. All right, guys. Happy Friday. I will continue to kind of manage the waiting room as we get started here. But as always, guys, talk to me. Tell me some good things that are going on out there in your life.
It's Friday.
It is Friday. What kind of good stuff happened this week?
Club Wealth was yesterday. It was great.
Yeah, you enjoyed the Club Wealth event. What was your biggest takeaway from it?
My biggest takeaway was, again, hearing the Ford method over and over again, something I've been using for a long time. Kind of hearing all the things that you guys kind of put right here in this group over and over. So just constantly hearing the same things over and over again. And the menu, the seller's menu.
Yeah. Yeah, providing options. And we're going to talk about both of those things today, kind of in the talk track and stuff. Well, hit on that, not specifically the Ford model, but very similar to the Ford model, and a lot of things that kind of correlate and go with it. But that's great, man. Was Michael Hellickson, was he the one teaching it?
He was. He was. He really was.
Very nice. Very nice. Beautiful. Who has the second win? Club Wealth was cool. We got some takeaways and stuff there. As Mashawn had mentioned, right? A lot of times it's really doing the things that we talk about. I think a lot of times that, we look for the easy button. And as we've talked on here, like I haven't found it yet, right? Like it takes consistency and doing the right thing over and over and over again to get the results and stuff that you're looking for. So thank you for sharing that, Mashawn. Who has the second win for today?
I get a second win.
Talk to me, mister.
Good morning, Larry. I had an amazing More Listings Mastermind on Wednesday. We do it every Wednesday, 1 o'clock. And it's just a bunch of agents that are inspired about taking more listings, who to prospect, what to say, how to get the best results. And it's just amazing when agents that are literally fired up about taking more listings get in our same room. It's fantastic. We had a great call, and we do it every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Pacific.
Beautiful. Can you do me a favor and post the link in the chat in case other people want to put it on their calendar there?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys,
enjoy the ranch, man. I love the ranch.
Yes, the ranch is cool, man.
It's a special place.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I'm super grateful to be up here right now. That's for sure. Yeah, guys, and this is one of the things. So you heard Mashawn talk about it, right? Like a lot of the stuff that we talk about here was just re-emphasized out there at the Club Wealth. We have so many tools in this group, right? We have so many different mastermind groups and stuff. You can't possibly attend all of them. But what you guys need to do is figure out the ones that align with your business goals and go to those ones, right? So if you're looking to take more listings, man, that would be a huge one for you to attend Robert Weikel's mastermind call just specifically on listings, right? We have ones on social media, we have ones on this, we have ones on that. So this is where, one, you have to know where you want to go, and then you have to figure out how you're going to get there. So once you have your business plan created, now you look at that and figure out, okay, what skills, what strengths do I need to increase to be able to get where I need to be at the end of the day. So thank you for sharing that, Robert. Beautiful, guys. And who has the last win for today?
Hey, Larry, I got a win.
Talk to me, brother.
So last week, after we were reviewing the BBA on this mastermind call last Friday, I went back and reviewed the emails, and you just spoke about all the tools that are available. I reviewed the buyer toolkit and the seller toolkit that EXP provides, and really made me feel a lot more comfortable about things being a newbie. So, I mean, all the tools are here for you to use. So
they really are, right? And this is where sometimes it's too much, right? Sometimes there's too many options and we almost get paralyzed, and then we just shut our email down altogether or something like that, right? This is where I want you to lean into the other leaders and stuff in the group that have been here a little bit longer, that know where those resources are located, right? Don't spend 2 weeks trying to figure something out. Like, reach out to myself, reach out to, whoever brought you in, and let's figure out the shortest way possible to get everybody where they need to be here, because we got a lot of resources, but they're useless unless we actually use them. All right. Anybody else have anything that they would like to share this morning?
I would like to say thank you to Robert Weichelt I went on his Get More Listings class that he does, and I gotta say, I'm really thrilled about closing on my very first Zoom listing appointment in Florida, when the entire time I was in Washington State, never stepped foot in the state, never stepped foot in the house. And I got that closed yesterday. And I got my third Zoom listing in Florida yesterday to replace that one and get that one going. So thank you, Robert. You're amazing.
Wow, that's a huge, guys, if that's not a testimonial and a plug for Robert's wealth building, or not his wealth building, but his listing mastermind, I don't know what is. Man, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Angela. That's great. And kudos to you, Robert. Obviously, people are taking some big takeaways from that. And what I love is the implementation of it, of us actually putting that into work. That's awesome. All right. Anybody else before we go ahead and get started? All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and jump into this. So I got a short talk track and stuff here that I think will apply to every one of us. But one of the things that, like as Robert was talking about up here at the ranch, right? I'm constantly evaluating myself, constantly looking at where the cracks are. Where can I be stronger? Where can I be better? Where can I do this? Where can I do that? Right? And so, the first question is, have you ever in your adult life kind of looked in the mirror and wondered if you should be further ahead by now? And here's the thing, whether you have or you haven't is kind of irrelevant, but you're not alone on either one of those. And so today, I want to share with you a lot of habits on how you can kind of live your life to the fullest. And this goes for anything that we decide to do. So, can you guys hear the wind a lot right now? Or are you, no? Okay, perfect. The earbuds are working. Because it's a little windy and stuff up here. So here's the thing, right? We have to figure out what are the fears for your audience, right? Because here's the thing, it's not about us, right? It's about the clients that we're serving. And so if you take one thing away from this, we have to figure out the problems that your audience is having right now. And then we have to learn how to flip those fears, right? We have to be able to use those in our advantage by answering their questions in advance. Because if you know what their problems are, the most likely scenario is that you've ran into other scenarios like this, that you're going to be able to jump ahead of the curve, and that's going to make you really look like this market expert at the end of the day. So we have to use these fears or these dreams or both in kind of a hook for your audience at the end of the day. And the goal here is to move away from the problem and then move into kind of a pleasure or solution type philosophy. Does that make sense? Make a couple head nods, thumbs up, perfect. So the outcome isn't the thing that you're building. The person you are is the thing that you're building, and that continues to work, right? I want to repeat that again. The outcome isn't the thing that you are building. The person that you are is the thing that you're building that continues to work. And the more you work on you, right, the more it works out there in your everyday life as well. So it's about who you become while you're doing this work, and and enjoying the process. And we're going to talk a lot about that, because you have to learn to love this process, because there's going to be some struggles. There's going to be some growth opportunities. And if every time you face this discomfort, you kind of shut down and move away from it, like you're never going to get that dream life, because you've never been in those scenarios before, right? So you don't know what to expect. So you're going to make some mistakes. You're going to, grow. You're going to experience those growing pains at the end of the day. So you have to learn to love this process. And so let's think about the current situation right now in our economy. There are more challenges, frustrations, perceived obstacles than we have seen in years. And a lot of times, the first obstacle is you, and it's how you're looking at these scenarios, which is why every week on this call, I don't care what's going on with the market. Because here's the thing, I do feel like we're heading into a recession. Like, I think it's inevitable that we avoid a recession at this point in time. That is my personal opinion. That is not a bad opinion, because as we've talked about, this group is so prime in position to stay ahead of that market that I think our group will grow tenfold during that time, because of the amount of value and stuff that we're adding, the amount of business that we're driving to people, and because of all of you guys and the work that you guys do, right? I couldn't just send you guys business and then we drop the ball at the end of the day. Like, the only reason that we get more and more opportunities is because you guys are out there kicking ass every single day, under promising, over delivering to our clients, right? So when these referrals and stuff come through, that's what makes it so successful at the end of the day. But think about that, where we're at in this market, because agents are feeling this. The NAR settlement, Scott, was just mentioning that, right? As a newer agent, right? There's a lot of uncertainty. Sales are going down for a lot of agents. They're going up for a lot of agents on this call, which I'm blessed to have you guys, right? There's fluctuation in the interest rates, right? We don't know what's going to happen with the election. There's all of this turmoil that's out there right now. But this is where control what you can and figure out how you capitalize on this, how you use this as a growth opportunity. And the first thing that we need to do anytime we're going through this growth mode, right, is that we have to fall in love. Like, I'm talking about like Valentine's Day cards, right? I'm talking about sending flowers. We have to fall in love with this process. Actually, we have to fall in love with a lot of things. The first one is we have to fall in love with your audience first. Act like you are serving your biggest love, your significant other, your mother, your father. You have to fall in love with your client, because that's how they feel that you're authentic, right? Have any of you guys ever went to somebody and they said something, but you just didn't feel it, right? Like, they said, "Oh, I love you." And you're like, "Damn, it doesn't really sound like you love me," right? Like you said that kind of flat, right? Like, we've all been in this scenario before where somebody said something, but you didn't really believe them, right? You have to be authentic with your audience. Your audience is key in making this work. So you have to fall in love with your audience first. Second is that you have to fall in love with their results, right? What are they looking to accomplish? And if you cannot answer that question, then you're just guessing after that. So you have to fall in love with them. You have to fall in love with their results as if it's binded to you. And based on your career, it is binded to you, right? Because the more people that you create that love, that authenticity with, like the more closing that you're going to have, the bigger your bank account's going to be, the more you're going to be able to get to your goal dreams and stuff like that. The third one is you have to fall in love with the product or service, because you are the actual product or service, right? People are buying you, right? We talk about this all the time, is that, you know, this group that we've put together, we could have been banana real estate. We could have started our own. We could have went to any company and been super successful. Like EXP was not the product or service, right? We are the product or service. EXP was just the vehicle that we chose to kind of accelerate our path and get us all there in the fastest, in the shortest period possible. And then the last one that I want to touch base on is, if you do all of this, then you should not feel bad about selling, right? Guys, I don't know how many people come to me and they're like, I don't want to call my center of influence the people that already know, like, and trust them. They don't want to call them because they don't want to sound like a salesperson. Bullshit. You are not adding enough value at that point in time. Like, I never feel bad about what I'm presenting to people, because in my heart, I feel like it is a goddamn disservice that more people are not doing business. Right? Like, and that's how I go into every different opportunity. If you don't list with your home with me, it's a disservice. If you don't partner with our group, it's a disservice. Right? If you don't want to hang around me, it's a disservice, right? Like, that is truly my mantra and mindset, is that I want to add so much value to people that it is a disservice that they don't do more with me. And we have to start with that emotion of love, right? It starts with love, and then we kind of get into the strategy as that continues to progress. So 10 things. If you guys have some papers and notes, these are 10 things that will help, whether it's REO, traditional, listing, buyer, seller, 10 things that I want you guys to have. And hopefully one or two of these really stand out for you. The first one is, know your audience needs better than they do. Guys, real estate is what you do. Minus an occasional for sale by owner that knows more than you, you guys are the professionals. You guys are the experts right now. Educate people on this. This is where you don't have to sell things on social media every day. Add value and educate people. Educate on what's going on in the market, your local areas, right? Like, build that branding that you are the market expert at the end of the day. That's the first one. Second one, they come for what they want. You must be willing to give them what they need. Let me repeat that one more time, right? They come for what they want, but you must be willing to give them what they need. This comes back to you knowing your audience better than they do. Know their goals, know the pitfalls or obstacles they're going to have along the way, and like, get to their questions before they do, right? Educate them and answer those questions before they have time to get to that. Number 3 is you have to make daily deposits in your business relationship equity account, right? You have to make these deposits into this business relation equity account and never let it be overdrawn. Anybody have any idea what the hell I'm talking about there? Nobody. So what I mean by that is think about this. As many agents as I've coached, and think about your business. Anybody's business go through these ebbs and flows like this, right? That's because somebody's not making their daily deposit, right? So what happens is somebody gets into real estate. And, oh my gosh, this is going to be so great, right? And then you start making calls, you start doing all of the things, you're going to open houses. Oh man, I'm crushing it. You get somebody that wants to buy a house. Yes, I knew this would work, right? Got all of this momentum and energy going here, right? And you're starting to feel it. Oh man, somebody else calls and says they want to list their home. They saw you on Facebook. Oh my gosh, two things. And then somebody else, you do a mega open house and you get 3 or 4 buyers, right? And then you get busy. And then you stop doing the shit that made you successful to start with, right? Because you got busy, because you're probably doing things that you shouldn't be, like paperwork and admin and a lot of other administrative tasks, when you should be focusing on dollar productive behavior. You should be focusing, right, on making your deposits every single day. So what does that look like? Is that open houses? Is that calling your center of influence? Is that, prospecting, FISBOs, expired? That needs to be like, you need to make deposits into that account every single day. Number 4, no one believes what they are told. They believe what they experience. So you guys have to create an experience of what it's going to be like to work with you before they actually work with you. This is where your presentation is so key. You have to paint the picture and set the expectations for your client, right? A big one for me is, like, I used to give my clients an update every single week, whether they wanted it or not. Because I noticed that when I didn't and there wasn't activity, and I called them 2 or 3 weeks later because there was no activity on their property, they started to get the perception that I wasn't doing anything, which wasn't the case, right? The market was shifting, it was overpriced. So when I learned that lesson, I vowed to move forward. Like, look, I'm going to be reaching out to you, whether you like it or not. I'm going to tell you what's going on. Hey, look, Angela, we only had 2 showings this week. That's telling me that the market is, slowing on your particular property. That's not enough, because we're betting on those 2 people to actually get an offer on your own, right? And so when I pulled the comps, and this is what the data tells me, right? And I'm just coming back to the numbers and the data. I'm taking my personal feelings, but I'm calling my clients every single week, giving them an update, right? How are you setting the expectation that it's going to be like to work with, right? Don't be one of those agents that takes listing and then never talks to their client, right? You're doing them a disservice and yourself a disservice, because, like, it's tarnishing your reputation. It's a one less referral that somebody else is going to give you at the end of the day. Here's the 5th one. The heart chooses, the mind justifies. So don't lead with logic, because that's not always going to win you the game. Logic needs to be in there. But again, you have to know your client so well. This is where the DISC test comes into play, right? Start evaluating your client. How are you going to communicate with them that is on their playing field, right? That builds that rapport and relationship at the end of the day. Number 6, you have to keep what I have. Let me rephrase this here. To keep what I have to constantly be willing to give it away. Constantly. Right? This is why we do REO events and stuff like that. Right? Like, I don't view other people as competition. Right? I'm trying to add so much value to them, because I know their broker, their company, or anybody else is not going to be able to do that. So I have a little bit of experience in this REO and default side of things. So I educate other people on that and help them position for that. I don't charge them $1. I don't make $1 off of that. But what I do build is a hell of a lot of relationships, right? I build my database. So what are you doing on your side? What are you giving away to your client? What's keeping you sticky, right? Is it a monthly home evaluation showing their appreciation, depreciation, or is it tips? Is it calling and checking in and see how they're doing? Did you take notes in your CRM and you just listened occasionally? Right? You have to figure that out. Number 7 is the best ad doesn't actually look like an ad, right? Everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold at the end of the day. That includes your listing presentation and everything else, right? So come to their playing field, right? Add massive value. Like they want to buy, like they've already raised their hand that they want to buy or sell a home. Like, let's make sure that we make it with you. This one's really important. Done is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. My crappy anything will always outperform your nothing. And this is where, like, you have to take that step. You have to take that action. Like, if in your goal is to take more listings this year, like, great, start showing up to Robert's, like, step 1, show up to Robert's mastermind call. You know, step 2, pick up the goddamn phone and talk to somebody. But they don't know what to say. You're going to learn really quick, right? Don't get paralyzed by this. When I do this, then I'll do this. When I do that, because this will never come, which means your end result will never come either. Right? So done is better than perfect. Create some action items and take a step. Right? You do not have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. That's the only way that it works. And the last one here. Shine the light brightest on the talented people around you. Right? Like, guys, I am so thrilled to be surrounded by all of you rock stars. I really am. So, like, pour into those. We have 600 agents. I don't pour, like, in our group, I don't pour into all 600 of those agents because they don't all pour in here. And you know what I see is the agents that are leaving our group or are dissatisfied also have the lowest production, right? I had an agent that left in Chicago yesterday. This happened yesterday. Swear to God, true story. Chicago. Is Art on this call? So we have 2 agents in Chicago, right?
I'm here, Larry. I'm driving.
Okay. All right. So riddle me this. Since we've partnered, how many listings do you have in your pipeline, or have you received so far this since we started?
I have received 13 total, 12 in Illinois, 1 in Florida. I got actually 3 of them scheduled to close the week that I'm gone, of course, for the 5-star, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Another one closing next week, and another one, yeah, total of 4 closing, others under contract. So yeah, plenty in the pipeline. Keep going.
And how long have you been here, sir?
Since May, middle of May.
Since the middle of May.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Guys, that example is not happening other places. But here's the thing. Chicago is super busy, right? I just introduced Art to Rafael Dagnesis because he needed more coverage there. Chicago is always a hot spot, right? It has over 4 million people if you like count the Chicago land area, right? Like altogether, it's even more than that. And so it's always a busy place to be. And so I had an agent that came and I saw him off board. He was one of my personal. And he was like, I was like, hey man, what happened? What, like, you know, because I reach out to him every single month. right? As I do with all of the people that I brought in personally. I reach out at least once every single month and talk to them, check in on them, see how they're doing, how I can add value. And he said, well, Larry, I came here for the REOs and I haven't seen anything yet. And I'm shaking my head like, you have to be, excuse my language, fucking kidding me. This man did not did not take the Revenue certification. He did not take the Bubba Mills certification. He was not on this mastermind call. Like, I can't help you if you don't want to be helped. Right? So here's the thing. I have to look at what I could have done better. Like, maybe I could have communicated differently, right? Maybe I could have done something like that, because however I was communicating was not the way that he needed to be communicated with. But just like Art, like I was just shaking my head, because like Art, I have probably 3 or 4 other agents with similar or more inventory than Art, right? And it's just going to get busier and busier in Chicago at the end of the day. So again, I didn't shine my light brightest because that person didn't lean into the system, right? You have to lean into the system and use the tools and resources that we have in order to get the results of a Robert Weichel, of an Angela, of a Jared, right? Like, you have to lean in to see what these other folks are doing. And if you don't, that's kind of on you at the end of the day. And you have to be happy with those results if you're not willing to lead in. So those were 10 tips that I just wanted to kind of go through and leave you guys with. So here's the thing, right? We talked about this crazy time in history. People are uncertain, they're stressed, they're paralyzed. Even if they have money, they're not doing very much right this second. So smart people start to look for opportunities in this changing time. And so there are a couple of simple principles that I want you guys to work on as this uncertainty comes in, is that you guys have to start to build your brand. Who are you? What do you do? What do you stand for? What do people think of immediately when they think of you in your company or your business? First off, can you answer that question? If not, that's where you need to create your vision, your mission statement, right? What do you guys want to be known? Second one is that you have to contribute without expectation, right? When I host those REO classes, I never expect any of those people to talk to me ever again. If they do, it is a bonus. If we do business, it's a bonus. If they join our group, it is a bonus. You have to know that you are doing the right thing for the right reason. And as long as that is happening, everything else is irrelevant. The third one here, do nothing that takes the energy and focus of the business off of the path of growth. This is where you have to look at, what are you doing every single day? And is it aligning with your short and long-term goals? Now, if you don't have a business plan, that's the starting point. And I can't stress that enough. I probably mentioned business plan 4 or 5 times on this session already. The purpose is more important than the plan, right? Like, you have to believe in what you're doing, guys. You have to believe that you're really helping somebody with the largest financial decision of their life. You're going to be able to negotiate the best price. Guys, compute that. If you help somebody negotiate a deal for $25,000, $30,000 under market value, or off of, the listing price, what does that compute to over a 30-year mortgage? Right? That's life-changing for people. Have faith and believe in what you guys are doing. You need to have this white belt mentality that you're always able to be coached and you're open to feedback, right? Because that's the only way that we grow. And as this market continues to shift, we're going to have to do this more and more and more. And then here's the last one, is constantly survey your audience. right? Get their feedback. You might think everything's going great, and man, things might be slipping through the cracks, right? So know your audience, get their feedback and stuff here. Now, I want you guys to answer a couple of questions for me as we're winding down here, because we have to get crystal clear, right? So the first thing that I want you guys to write down is, what do you do? What do you do when you service a client? How would you explain that to them? I really hope it doesn't say I fill out the listing paperwork and put it on MLS, because that's not going to work. Not if you go up against an agent in this group, that's for sure, right? It might work with some of the other competition out there. It's not going to work with this group. And this is where we elevate our standards here. Second thing, so after you know what you do, what does that solve for people?
What the fuck did I get myself into here?
Wow, that's I don't know what you got yourself into, sir. Oh boy.
Can you repeat that one, Larry?
Yes. What the fuck did I get myself into here? Oh boy. Sorry. Oh, you wanted me to repeat the question? Okay, got it. So first is, what did you do? Right? You have to be able to explain that to people.
Oh, I didn't.
Second one.
Being lazy and didn't want to type the word up.
The second one is,
Right here with
what does it solve?
me, not by the law.
What does it solve at the end? That was the second one. What does it solve? So what do you do? What does that solve that you do? There's a third one that I want you to write down. Who do you do it for? Are you doing it for yourself, for your clients, right? Do you have a picture of your kids posted on your dream board and stuff? And, you know, you have these goals that they can go to any college that they want and not have to be stuck in student debt for the rest of their life, right? Like, who are you doing it for? And then the last one is that you have to carry out the action, right? Now it's time for you to take that first step, take that action, and actually start building on it. Think about this, guys. What if you were a personal development business disguised as a business building solution? Right? Because I truly feel like a lot of us are therapists, right? Like with our clients and stuff, we're helping people with foreclosures, with short sales, with divorces, like this stressful opportunity, right? What if you were a consultant, right? What if you were a business development business disguised as a business building solution, disguised as a real estate agent, a real estate broker, or something like that, right? And so here's the thing: start being an organic business builder, right? Do free Zooms, do free events, free speaking, content posting and emails, educating people, right? If you guys haven't been to my, seizing REO opportunities, we talk about some of these guys. Like, HUD, right, as a good neighbor next door program where police officers, firefighters, nurses, teachers, first responders can buy a HUD home for 50% of the list price. 50%. Guys, what if you educated yourself on this program and went to your kid's school and said, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Principal, I just came across a program where our teaching community can buy a home at 50% of the list price. It's a government program. It's very exclusive to teachers specifically. I would love to maybe get some lunch for your teachers and educate them on it. Would that be of interest to you? You can do that for firefighters, police officers, like, right? Because that principal, that police chief, etc., their goal should be to add value to their people as well. So if you find a good one, they're going to absolutely jump on that. Cynthia, what's going on? I see your hand, Phyllis.
Yeah. What program was that again?
It is called the Good Neighbor Next Door program. And so if you go to hudhomestore.gov, you can get some more information and stuff on that.
I'm sorry. Do you mind repeating? I couldn't grab a paper fast enough.
No problem. So Angela just put it in, Good Neighbor Next Door. And she also put in, I think it's .gov, not .com, but you should be able to get close enough to that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, that adds massive value to somebody. Now, here's the thing: most of those folks, right, most of those properties lie in areas that are being gentrified or revitalized or something like that. Some of them tend to have higher crime rates or different scores on schooling that people may or may not want, but not all of them, right? Like they give loans all across the board. And so don't make this judgment that nobody is going to want to do this or that. That's not your decision, right? This allows you to get in front of people and add people to your database at the end of the day, right? So think about that. How are you going to be an organic business, right? Free Zooms, events, speaking, constantly posting in emails and stuff like that. Yes.
And Larry, I did that to the El Cajon Police Department. The police chief is a friend of mine, and he goes, "Hey, we were talking about that program." He basically invited me to their once a month meeting. They go over other things, but I got a chance to get up in front of the whole police department and talk about the Good Neighbor Next Door. It was awesome.
That is awesome, guys. And I'm telling you, like almost any of those services, right? They do community events. They do things like that. Like partner with them on that. Right? All right, guys. Well, so that was a lot of things that were just like sitting on this dome that I just needed to get out. Hopefully they added some value for you, right? Like hopefully like you resonated with a couple of things. You're not going to be able to implement all of those things that we talked about, right? What are 2 or 3 that you love that you're like, damn, I need to do that better? And then what are the steps that you're going to take to actually like implement that?
Yes. Good.
All right. Questions besides the folks that are just unmuted at this point in time. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? No. All right, guys. Well, I'll give you about. Yes.
I missed number 10 on your list of 10 things. What was that?
I took one out because I didn't like it, and I didn't think anybody would notice. Yeah, I read it and I was like, nah, it didn't really resonate with me. But I didn't think somebody was actually counting. But thank you for holding me accountable and calling my ad. I appreciate it.
You're
That's
welcome.
Awesome, Larry. Thank you so much. This is huge.
Larry, do you have
Yeah.
these somewhere that you could put in the chat or somewhere? Because I was trying to listen to you and pay attention and write them down, so I missed some of them.
Let me not right now. Right now I'm working off of my phone, but when I get back to my computer and stuff like that, I should be I can send over my notes and stuff like that as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. But here's what I would tell you, right? What are the ones that you remember? What are the ones that stood out to you? Like, write those down, right? Because again, you're not going to be able to implement all of them. What are 2, 3, 4 that really stood out that you're like, damn, I got to be better at that? That's what I want you to really focus on. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Oh man, this was awesome. Thank you, brother.
Beautiful. Well, guys, I'm super excited. I'll get to see a lot of your bright, shining faces and stuff here in a couple of weeks at 5 Star. I can't wait to be reunited and stuff with all of you guys. So if you guys need anything from me, call, text, or email me. I love you guys to death. Like, pour into those around you, your clients, your family, your business partners, and stuff like that. And kick ass this week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. We'll be back next week. Let me just see if I have the agenda for next week. Who's going to be on the call with us? I don't think I do. I think I have a financial a coach that does financial analytics just for real estate agents, is my gut feeling. And then I also have Bill Pipes that's going to be coming on. We're just trying to figure out how to schedule and stuff here. So, all right, guys, that's it. Have a great week. I'll talk to you guys soon.